We've got one question on our minds tonight. Who moves on to the semifinals to take on Drac? Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Link to the Past Randomizer Challenge Cup match, where we wrap up the quarterfinals to see who's on to the semis to round out our final four. I'm Leslie Pro. I will be joined by Amaranth Alterna in just a few minutes. But what we have for you tonight is a pressing of the undo button. Game 2 was Map Compass Shuffle, but it appears as though Rascal has opted to undo that change, so we are back to open 7-7 defeat Ganon. And we're off with Divergence already with 20 rupees in Sanctuary, Fisher Price Shield at Link's house. Looks like Rascal went for a guard kill using the sign, but oop, that's a map check, and that is a Red Crystal Eastern Crystal Hera. Bear with me, folks. Things tend to not work when they're supposed to. As we've got 10 arrows down in the woods, what about the bug? Vanilla. Rick's like, no thanks, I'm good. Okay, we've got Rascal at Link's house. I believe Rick saw what was at Lumberjack. It's a piece of heart in the woods. Rascal's getting bombs from a 50-50 spot. As that piece of heart in the woods is... Oh, that would help. So we are basically following in each other's footsteps, as Rick is going for... Well, he got a magic pot from there, but that's about all he got. This was for a tree pull, which is hearts. This is the worst type of Kakariko. Not enough money to buy bombs, so you gotta make a decision on where you want to go first and how you want to go about it. For Rascal, he opted to go for 50-50 bombs, which yields 20 rupees out of the chicken coop. Both runners going down the well. The big difference here is Rick doesn't have bombs, as they both come up with 50 rupees, so if there are no bombs here on the outside, but that's a mirror, that's nice. So no bombs on the outside, so Rick's gonna have to come back, which is a bit of a rough break, but hey, it's rando. So now Rick's gonna have to buy bombs, while Rascal's gonna be able to continue uninterrupted. So what do we got in Blind's hideout? 20, 40, 60. Fire rod. So 60 rupees and a fire rod. And 10 arrows. And Rascal's seen enough, opting to save quit. As Rick is heading back to get the checks he wasn't able to get the first time. And Rascal, by virtue of using the mirror, is able to exit Sanctuary a little bit faster. The only quicker exit would be with boots, and with that glove he found in the early part of the game, he's going to back of escape with that last bomb. Maybe hoping to find more. We shall see. Well, he found a sword, a moon pearl, and a map. I would say 2 of those were big value. The other one was like, really? We don't need that. So Rick's about to get his fire rod. While Rascal is heading off to Hyrule Castle. We have not seen this yet, but that early sword does make this check awfully tempting. Piece of heart from Uncle. You could say his heart's broken that it's come to this, which would be understandable. And 3 bombs while Rick gets the glove at the back of the bar. And Rascal's continuing on for the castle with a weapon or 2. It's a play that makes sense. The library is a shovel. It remains to be seen if that's needed. But as for our day at the races, it is just 50 rupees, not even worth it. So it's 2 keys that we see. One gets used, but now we know, by virtue of the map being in back of escape, that there is an item at Dark Cross. On the plus side, having possession of the mirror will make getting to that location a lot easier than otherwise, as Rick has a bomb not do its job. As Rick comes up with the sword and the moon pearl. See, does Rick also go to the castle or to South Shore? This isn't also to the castle, so he's retracing Rascal's steps by, I'd say, just eyeballing it a good minute and a half, 2 minutes. Rascal is apparently setting up for a death warp. That's just 50 rupees in the cell. And yep, it's taking the quick trip back, but not using the mirror to do so. Interesting. So one of the changes for version 31 is that we now can logically access Dark Cross with the fire rod. So yes, there can be something here, and that something also includes a potential hammer, a potential lamp, or some other form of progression. So Rick did catch a break with the level 2 tree pole in getting 8 bomb packs. And speaking of bombs, that's all that's in Dark Cross, so not what Rascal wanted to see. So we're getting our first look at South Shore, courtesy of Rascal. And now we are going to get a first instance of a block glitch where we despawn it. 300 rupees, not bad. On the outside is a piece of heart, and Rascal's saying no to it. For now. Seems to be a bit early to be leaving heart pieces behind, but that's just me. As Rascal clears out Mini Moldorm Cave, Rick goes for the Fire Rod kill on the Ball and Chain Guard, gets it. Gonna pick up some hearts before mirroring back as Rascal comes up with a red boomerang, a piece of heart, a flute, Bombos medallion, 20 rupees. I would say Mini Moldorm Cave was quite stacked, and this save and quit could be to activate that flute. It would make sense, just don't forget Ice Rod Cave. Because the luck of a rando runner is anytime you abandon a location, there becomes a chance that you're leaving something behind. Let's hope that's not the case. As Rick's also going to Dark Cross, Rascal is definitely en route to activate the flute. As Rick picks up the 3 bombs, for Rascal, it's time to unleash the goose. As with that playing of the melody, the goose is loose, the mallard is empowered, the duck is running amok. And probably the most important one of all, as I saw during Untitled Goose Game. Hot! Rascal's now returning for Ice Rod Cave. Important note, be careful on approach. Those crabs do 2 hearts of damage, so that would be 2 hits to a death at 4 hearts. And that's a bug net. Not the most important item in the world, but certainly very helpful. Rick's about to get loaded in Mini Moldorm Cave in terms of progression, while Rascal is going for Fake Flipper strats, which at this juncture in the game does make sense because you can get the Waterfall Fairy checks by way of a water walk that gets set up when you go in and then out as you're about to see. Ooh, that is an Ice Rod. Well, that takes care of one potential obstacle late down the road, assuming, well, maybe that just means that Turtle Rock's a pendant. We don't know that yet, but if it's required, it's one nice thing not on the list. Yeah, I would believe that too. So the question is for King Zora, which is in logic because we have the glove, and that's our first bottle with a blue potion in it to boot. Expensive drink that is, but on the plus side, now Sick Kid is in logic. Yeah, that flute's very real. And what does Sick Kid have for you? Heart container. Not the best, not the biggest scam from King Zora, but we've certainly seen worse. Now, how do you feel about Darkroom strats? Because that's what Rascal's doing on Death Mountain. As Rick has activated the flute that sends the duck amok. Well, it turns out the Zora scam was a bit larger than I previously calculated because the old man also had a potion with blue drink in it. Rick's taking a different approach, checking the island with chest 3 bombs. Our third bottle's been located, it's on Spectacle Rock, and it's gotta be in it with arrows on the inside. Question is, are we going to get a Dark World map check, or is Rascal gonna say that? Nope, he's doing it now. And yes, pendant is... Our pendants are Skullwoods with a green pendant at Pod, and I believe I saw a 5-6 crystal at Beefstown. Rascal claims the B-Tour. And now we get our first look at Hera. And guess what? We gotta visit Hera Basement. As Rick gets the ice rod and another piece of heart. It's also going to be getting the Zora rewards. I assume there's nothing on Zora Ledge. Oh wait, fake flipper. Never mind. Let's see what it is. Yeah, it was nothing. It was just 20 rupees. This Rascal is playing playing a bit of a game of dodgeball with these moving tiles. Doing a really good job with it. And dodges them all. And that was for the big key, so that was mandatory. So with that, Rascal's heading upstairs. So Rick now has 6 hearts with that heart container pickup. Rascal only has 5. Due to piece of hearts not being picked up. Which is up to the runners. I mean, if you're comfortable with the health you're at, more power to you. And Rascal is going for a bomb jump that is a 2-pixel window without boots. He gets it first try, and thankfully didn't hit the switch before hitting it. Otherwise, we might have had a potential Yakety Sax revisited moment. Rick's in the dark room. Well, we've got ourselves a Moldorm fight. Nothing extra to it, just 6 strikes with a sword to take down one of the trolliest bosses in this series' history. That's 2. 3. Halfway there. That's 4th hit. Now comes the tough part, the enraged hit, but it's no problem for Rascal, as he got a very good pattern. And it's just for 1 rupee? That feels like a bit of a ripoff, but it's for a crystal, so it's worth it. And Rascal's the first on the board. Rick sees the crystal layout, which is one of those, basically, we're gonna need everything to beat the game seeds. As Rick's starting Eastern, we're now getting our first look at Sahasrara, which I believe, based off what we've seen, this or something at Agina would be our progression, and we found all 4 bottles and we're not even 22 minutes in. Wow.
Greetings, Leslie. I am finally here. Sorry.
No worries about that, as I am now joined by Amaranth Alterna. Good evening. How are you doing?
I am in a state of distress, so we are going to play tonight like Bob Ross. Tonight is going to be just full of a happy little seed and just very, very nice thing.
Meanwhile, Rick's unleashed the Beator, probably for his own defense here. Alright, he's out of the tile room, but the Bee's gonna basically give those mini Moldorms the business, which will allow him to get one out of there into the big key room. There's a magic cape. Let's hope we find a hammer and not a lamp.
We can only hope, right?
I heard that.
And Rick saving that bee for later, I see.
I mean, it's the good bee, you might as well. Found the big key. Those weren't just B strats, those were good B strats. Now, Rick is opting not to bomb jump, probably due to the health situation, which is understandable. And there's our hammer!
Alrighty, nice, easy Dark World access at 23 minutes. Not too bad.
It's not just Dark World's access, that's also access to Paradox Cave and East Death Mountain, which we don't have yet. Our runners could opt to go for that if they wanted to include Spike Cave, but it might be better to just dive right into Dark World locations. Oh no, Rick gets troll-dormed.
Man, you just beelined right for him.
Yeah, Moldorm was having none of it today.
Alright, Rick, time to get your revenge.
And that compass means this Eastern Palace is a mandatory double dip. Because that bow, if it's not a... Rick? That was painful. As Rascal appears to be starting off Dark World by way of Hype Cave.
Seems to be a very common strat these days, especially if you have mirror, you just sort of route south towards Thieves Town and then just mirror back up into CAC so you can get into Village of Out. You get all the Hype Cave checks plus the Village of Outcast chest.
Rick, what? This is becoming brutal. As Moldorm is just absolutely having his way right now. Hype.
And those are some boots in Hype Cave.
And not footwear related, Moldorm just ran Rick off again as Rascal comes up with a Master Sword. Hype Cave was definitely the right call.
Yeah, for once in a while, it's actually hyped for a little bit. I call that a good solid, like 7 out of 10 Hype Cave.
Definitely. Okay, come on, Rick, finish this.
Just gotta take it slow. There you go, Rick.
Got him. So the early deficit caused by different routing in Kakariko and this seed not being rich enough to grant bombs early was the initial difference, but now it's Moldorm being the big difference, making it even worse.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Rick can do to make up that time.
Well, at this point, he has to go to the Eastern Palace area.
I'm guessing that's all he has left between everything that he's already checked in the light overworld.
It is outside of Agena, which we have not seen yet. We won't have to see because the Dark World access is within Eastern. Meanwhile, Rascal's working on the digs.
Quite a few of them, it seems.
He can confirm this is a lot of digs for a heart container, which, considering the health situation, that is worth.
Yeah, it'll be a very nice situation dipping into Thieves Town with about 8 hearts. A little bit more than... or rather, nice safety amount to go into.
I do like this routing here of Rascal picking up the shovel because, well, you knew it was here, you might as well see if it starts a fetch quest chain or if it was just a red herring.
Yeah, and with Boots, it's just a quick pop over.
Ooh, this is even better routing. He's going back to get Stumpy at the same time. Very optimized strategy here. A piece of heart, and now for the digging spot itself as Rick comes up with the magic tape. No idea yet if that's needed, but hey, that shovel could be required as we need to do both Meyer and TR. That's the Quake medallion that got buried.
Yeah, maybe, who knows, maybe both dungeons are requiring Quake today. We'll have to find out.
Jury's out on that, and we're not going to know that until we come up with the Titan's Myths, which, going off of our crystal layout, it's a bit early to call it possibly call Pedestal dead, or it can possibly be there. But yeah, that is a place the Titans myths can be due to our pendant layout.
We'll just have to wait and see then, I guess.
Rascal is heading dead north into Skull Woods. I mean, you've got the fire rod, so I guess why not?
Yeah, empty out the 2 quick checks here, kill the moth, and just sort of write this area of Hyrule out of your memory.
Honestly, I might have come back here with the book to at least check ahead while dealing with this, because we don't know if it's required, so this is just a check that's there because it's there, as Rascal takes a moment to stun the Gibdo with the boomerang once again, so they don't interfere. Good safety strat. I cut myself off there. Oops. Oh, Rascal gets grabbed. I guess he's like, enough of this, I'm moving on.
Yeah, just check it later. You already have a key.
Yeah, that pot key's guaranteed, thankfully.
Because for all you know, at least with the mirror, it's easy to check the 2 checks in the back here first.
Very much so, as Rick's done with Eastern.
And we'll see how he decides to enter the Dark World today. Rick looking like he's just going to follow suit and head over to Hype Cave.
It's a strategy that's going to work out well for him. Also, on Rascal's side, he did what we call an item dash. Although in this case, he did a different version of it than I typically see, as he used the fire rod.
Rascal dropping into the moth fight now.
And this is a fight that can cause headaches to even the most veteran of runners of this game and players of this rando alike, because when you hit Mothula into the spikes, your damage gets nullified.
Does a very nice job bullying the moth, though.
I'd say in this case, it was more like the bully got bullied. So now we get a look at what's in the back of Skull Woods. Rick almost left Cave 45 behind. Goes back for it. It's just a heart container, but considering he's at 1.5 hearts, this is a fortuitous stop.
Yeah, and I believe it was Sank Heart too, so... Or no, it wasn't just the other hearts in the container.
I did not see what came out of the back of Skull Woods, so...
It was just a key.
So everything's in the front. Rick activates spin speed. Some optimized movement strats. As now he goes for the dig game. And Rascal is just going to go for the front portion of Skull Woods.
So this is where Rick can make up a little bit of time. If Rascal doesn't find anything of worthwhile here in Skull Woods, and Rick decides to skip it, he can sort of make up the time that he lost in Tower of Hera and searching the overworld.
It would also make up time for Bomb Luck, and that's another bomb jump from Rascal. Again, that jump without boots is a 2-pixel window. With boots after a bonk, it becomes a 6-pixel window.
A little bit nicer and easier to deal with, and that's Ether.
Yeah, that could be something. Again, we don't know, but Rascal can put his mind at ease knowing that he doesn't have to worry about getting medallion blocked.
Absolutely.
And Rascal's going to get a health refill courtesy of a Gibdo hug. Personally not recommended.
I'm not sure if that was all the items out of Skullwoods. I think we skipped. Did he skip the one in the middle chest, or?
In the vanilla big key chest, he might have not gone back for it after he got wall mastered. As Rick digs up the Quake Medallion, we're now going to get our first look at the Village of Outcasts, starting with the treasure chest game. RNG elements, such as where items are for like the dig game, treasure chest game, Aga 2, Ganon RNG, those got set to the same per seed, so those elements won't be what decides a race. But for bosses, get it right the first time or else the RNG is going to be different.
Yeah, you take a death to Aga 2, or Ganon, and their pattern changes.
Well, we're not seeing Aghanim today, at least not the Castle Tower version, as Rascal's now into Thieves Town. Rick is getting bonked by the tree bomb, but following suit into Thieves Town. If Ether is not required, then this could be a significant time gain for Rick.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with skipping Skullwoods for now, just because it's a pendant and it's only 2 items. It's just one of those things that has that nasty habit of, oh, well, these pendant dungeons, especially the ones with only a couple items, tend to have that one progression item that you need.
Yeah, it's either that, Ice Palace, or Turtle Rock in that regard. Turtle Rock not having more locations, mind you, but that I see sometimes that's just how the randomizer wants to be. Rude.
It's as rude as 1s and 0s can get.
Movement, for the most part, in Thieves Town is going to be quick thanks to those boots. There is one spot coming up that can trip up runners, and that is the Hellway.
Yeah, if they can manage to line up. Yeah, I was going to say they could either manage to get the God Pixel and line up perfectly, or just use the cape and dash on through without work.
Probably one of the best uses for the cape, I have to admit. We are up to Fire Shield now for both runners. And there's our lamp.
Well, at least runners will no longer have to worry about doing dark runs.
The only true dark rooms that are in logic at this point, and this is depending on Pod key logic, would be Pod's Dark Maze. Rick had a bit of trouble in the Hellway, but is through. Blind's chest having only a piece of heart. But now, with no key being needed for the big chest, it's just off to the ball.
Yes, off to the pun master himself.
And what do we got today? And that pun's kind of deflated.
I mean, personally, I just think Blind's full of a little bit of hot air.
Wouldn't surprise me, but I know what one thing Blind's lacking on Rascal's side, and that's HP, because down goes the boss. Very good fight from Rascal, sticking to the script and taking the boss down.
Okay, so if you're Rascal, where do you head next?
Sea House is the current next destination. Not sure what's here, but we're about to find out, and it's the Cane of Samaria!
That's a pretty important find. I'm thinking he'll probably, once he's done here, go ahead check out North Dark World, check out Bumper Cave, Graveyard Ledge, and King's Tomb while he's at it, as well as Bonk Rocks, route that in nicely.
Yeah, the way this seed's routed, that type of routing is... well, let's just say our items lend to it very nicely. Bumper Cave is... 3 moms. This is a mirror to check Aga 1. Makes sense.
Has Rick checked this yet, or just not Rascal?
I believe he did. I did not catch what it was.
Looks like just a red rupee.
Yep. Uh-oh, Rick got a bit off cycle, but uses the cape to finish the fight. And we get our look at Bonk Rocks, which is just 20 rupees.
So now, does Rick continue to do these North Dark World checks as well, or does he dip into Skull Woods? Looks like he's going to figure out what's in Skull Woods.
Now, I don't think we saw all the items here, so... yeah, Ether was Skull Woods. Rascal did not... I don't think Rascal got to the big key chest as Rick catches a fairy for safety. Very good call.
Rascal did get the big key in the right side of the beginning of Skull Woods, but it was just a another small key inside of the big key chest.
Rick making much quicker work of getting in, and it's just 3 bombs. So Rascal did not leave anything of note behind. So for Rascal, that is a bit of a break. And he's off to Death Mountain to basically explore what we haven't seen yet, and that's the east side of the mountain.
Definitely a good call. Plenty of checks up here right now. All Paradox Cave, checking Floating Island. An actual rather quick Spiral Cave for once, because we got the boots now.
That is a good point, because we're basically a bow and hook shot from Go mode.
Well, in the mid.
Yeah, although I'm pretty sure our runners would prefer to find another sword as well as Silver's. And Rick's gonna pull Ether up, and he is out of there. He got out of Skullwoods quicker than Rascal, so that's still some time made up in the long run. And the island's got a piece of heart.
Hey, those are Titan Mets.
Well, we got those, and with that, Now the question is, where's the hook shot and the bow? Only one of those can be on the pedestal. Let me rephrase that. One of 2 bows can be on the pedestal, but only if a bow is available somewhere that doesn't require the pendant. And if that bow is there, then it cannot be that Pyramid Fairy.
Nope, and we'll likely see Rascal dip in the Turtle Rock, I bet, after he does all these checks, considering we're up here. You have everything you need to clear it except for the hook shot for clearing it efficiently, but, while you're here, get it done. Find yourself some flippers in there while you're at it, because, that's just where the flippers like to be,
you're
right?
gonna need those too. Whoops. Forgot about that detail. So, Paradox Cave being a bust. Guess now we're off to Dark Death Mountain. Ah, you left a portal there. Save a bit of time that way. I used to do that, but honestly, I've gotten away from it because sometimes I just don't feel like doing that because I'm going up by way of the teleporter. Is Rick setting up for a kern jump?
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, he almost got it, just a pixel too high. I think he got bumped off by the Hinox there, and he's like, enough.
Yeah, enough tries with that. We're done. We got other things to accomplish. Hey, that's a hook shot in Hook Shot Cave.
Dirty game. You put the hook shot in Hook Shot Cave? By the way, that's the one chest that can be in this cave logically, because you can bonk to it.
And a bow.
Okay, game. Where'd you hide the flippers? Probably on Trinex with how this seed's going.
But hey, if it's there, that's actually kind of nice to see, because then everything's just go from here.
Well, it turns out that little jaunt to Skull Woods was required.
Rick will definitely be happy to see that once he gets to that point. Rascal already glad about the play, I'm sure.
Used to always check Skull Woods back when the logic in an older itineration had a high tendency of favoring dungeons for its item locations. The logic now is crazy. Oh, wait, they did the math? I'll have to check on that later.
Yeah, with that 50,000 seed analysis that they did, there was some really interesting finds in there.
I'd have to look at that later. While Rick is following up on Rascal's checks, Rascal is going through Turtle Rock. Considering where you are in the seed, I know this might seem daunting to take on Trinex with just Master Sword, but there are ways to get around that. Plus, you're right here. You might as well take a dive.
Especially finding the powder, that's a nice safety on the way to Trinex. Make sure that you're full up.
And that you have fairies in the bottle in case you take a death. A blue potion also helps, especially on the magic side. Rick's gonna go ahead and do a bomb jump to get over to the other side faster. Except he changed his mind, making us look silly.
No, I just remembered that he had that portal down there at the bottom for himself.
That does make sense, as Rascal punts the Samaria block. Unfortunately, too close to the middle to be able to avoid those chain chomps, because those things are mean. Okay, that's interesting, game. You give us reading material.
Link is now
That book
literate.
does give us a check over on the Ether tablet, which can be done literally right after Turtle Rock. You're in the neighborhood, you might as well.
Yep, and if we're still looking for flippers at that point, may as well route in Spike Cave. So once again, this seed being nice and just a very happy little conveniently routed seed. Everything seems to be just relaxing.
It's relaxing unless you get dead rocked. Rick's about to come across his hook shot as the big key in Turtle Rock was at its vanilla location.
Rick will probably be really happy to see that hook shot there.
Oh, it's worth noting that speaking of sprites, Rick is playing as the bunny sprite, which is the sprite you get in the vanilla game when Link gets hit with the bunny beam as Rick comes up with the bow.
And Rick also following suit into the trek into Turtle Rock.
Gonna get our first look at Mimic Cave to see what we come up with. The door is open for Rick as Mimic Cave only has 3 bombs.
And now quick check into the big chest and then on the rest of the way to Turtle Rock towards Trinex. Still plenty of items left to check through Laser Bridge.
That small key's nice, game, but we need something a bit more than that to finish the job. Item's blue, but it's not the blue we're looking for, as that's just 3 bombs. Rick misses the timing on the quick hook shot off of the platform. The timing on that is deceptively tight.
Yeah, you have to shoot your fire rod way earlier than you think you have, and then get the hook shot at the very end of the torch.
Rick opts to mirror after getting the powder. Considering you gotta go through a crystal roller room, yeah, that does make sense. Compass and map are both on Laser Bridge. There's the small key.
So one more item plus an item on Trinex. Just a big 20.
No safety door strats from Rascal now. You gotta be careful with that cape when going through that door, I've found, because if the cape deactivates on the wrong pixel, Link's movement will be stuck in one direction. It's how you soft lock up in Ganon's Tower at Aga 2, but in this case, the fix is simple. Hit the dash button and Link bonks off the platform. I would know because I have done that in that spot myself.
Rascal heading into Trinex, going to be likely doing the Hammer Trinex right here. Ooh, this is the first Ice Rod shot, that makes things a little bit more difficult. Having to blow that blue potion way early.
Fire heads down as Rick comes up with the big key.
Just gotta keep dodging the rock head. And hope he has enough magic for one more shot on the fire rod, and misses, unfortunately. Got another blue backup.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
good.
still had both blue potions, so he wasn't in any real danger of running out.
Yeah, it's just that ice head really doesn't like to play nice. It likes to just bob and weave all over the place and be like, ha, you can't hit me.
So that's phase 1 done. Now for phase 2. One thing worth noting is the hammer has a very weird hitbox.
Yeah, while you can hit down and to the sides pretty easily, hitting up especially is very difficult. I believe you only have about a pixel or two to hit. Rick opting to check the big chest first before going into Mimic Cave.
So that's an okay strategy, is now Trinex is donezo.
Yep, and only
I
had a
would
piece of
wager
heart.
still going into pod here would be a good play because it's 5 items with green pennant being 6, even though it is a very long dungeon to full clear. Well, after you clean things up here, of course.
I would agree, but only after maybe doing Mire first.
Mire and Eastern, that would make sense.
Basically, clear out anything that could possibly have the flippers in just the way, and then you can just go mode Swamp and Ice, because you know the flippers can't be an Ice Palace.
On the flip side, one way to know if you're in a go mode type situation would be to check the pedestal, and if the text turns out to be flippers, you just go mode everything in your path. I mean, that would be the ideal dream scenario for not just the runner in this case, but for Chad as well. But
yeah,
it's
Chad always
probably
hoping for the
not
pet
that.
seed.
Even so, it's worth going for.
Just $5.
Fight cave. Now, it's worth noting that the forest of trees that you see from Death Mountain, I'm guessing they made it that way to give that feeling that you're really high up, which, for those who played Breath of the Wild, Death Mountain really is high up. Rick is going to open a safety door here. This is a safety strat for dealing with Trinex, especially in low percent situations.
Yeah, as I understood, that forest that you see below Death Mountain, I always at least thought that that's supposed to be like the Lost Woods down there that you're seeing.
And Rick takes a fatal shot from the laser, but has a fairy. Rascal is heading off to the mire area. That was Bomba, so digging up Quake not necessary for this seed, although at Master Sword, it definitely has its uses in Ice Palace. Got a mirror shield, not that we need it. Rick opting to catch a fairy.
Yeah, well, being on Greenmail, can't blame him for wanting to catch that fairy.
Our first look at Checkerboard Cave yields us 10 arrows. Not gonna need that. And Rascal is fluting. Where to? Back over to the teleporter. I believe this is to... Oh, nope, this was a misflute. Over to the Pod and Eastern area. I do believe he's gonna go for Pod Eastern back to back.
Very interesting. We'll have to see how this plays out for him.
Rick having to use his other blue potion to finish off phase 1, we hope. There it goes.
well, like
phase 1's done. That is not an easy fight to do, folks.
Yeah, like I said, that ice head just really likes to bob and weave all over the place and just dodge shots constantly. It's very difficult.
Worth noting that Rick does have a fairy, but he's not going to need it.
Yeah, it looked like he was considering switching to the cape there for a minute to get that last spin in, but opted to just go for it without it.
Hey, I assure you, chat, you were not the only ones that were scared. Rascal is closing in on the Armos Knights fight.
As Rick is about to be disappointed by the Ether Tablet and likely Spike Cave as well.
Yeah, for a change, it's not the Ice Rod, it's the Flippers. Still waiting on a song about that one.
I'm sure we'll get one eventually. But at least the Flippers have a lot more limited places that they can be than the Ice Rod.
Rascal picks up the other half of the 5-6 crystal, now able to check Big Bomb if they so desire.
Yeah, okay, I can sort of agree with wanting to do Eastern before Misery Mire then, possibly, but Pod is still a little questionable in my mind. But, you know, I've been wrong about Pod 9,000 times before, so...
To be fair, who hasn't been wrong about a location in any randomizer before? And Pod was bow-locked. We could not come here earlier. One of the great things about having boots, just destroying certain walls without having to menu for bombs.
Just a nice little tiny time save there on those.
Rick's gonna do the same thing, finish Eastern, and then we'll see. Looks like Rascal's opting to skip the big key chest for now. As we get our first defensive upgrade of the seed about an hour or so in with the blue mail.
Yeah, though, unfortunately, Rascal checking this chest up here, I believe this has to be a small key up here, being that we found the map in the first chest and the mail on that bridge chest. So these last two checks here have to be small keys, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you to be correct. Yep, they are. That's just knowing how pod key logic works, is that there's always a minimum of 4 small keys in the front. That means all the items are generally in the back.
Yeah, so once you find any combination of 2 non-keys, you can know safely that the other chests are all keys.
There's the big key. It's already lost control of the NMG strat, so it's trying to basically just wing it at this point.
Hey, sometimes you just have to, right?
Yep. The heart piece fills us out, so that'll speed up the warp out scenario. As we continue on into the Dark Maze for the Tempered Sword, that is a good find.
Yeah, at the very least, between the blue mail and tempered sword, pot seems to at least be sort of worth it.
Well, considering that we actually don't have to worry about Silverless Master Sword as a result of that find, we'll take it. As Rick, I believe, is diverting to head to Big Bomb. This is our first real diversion of the seed outside of the first few minutes.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this plays out, going Helmasaur versus the Big Red Bomb.
Not just the Helmasaur King, but the Green Pendant too. And there's only one more sword left in the wild.
Yeah, and that difference between Master Sword and Tempered Sword is pretty big, so Rascal has quite a bit of the offensive advantage at the moment.
No, we have not done any part of the blacksmith chain whatsoever.
Oop, Rick accidentally resetting the time on his bomb there.
300 rupees on the pyramid. Nice, but not picked up, as that is a heart container and 3 bombs, so big bomb not required.
Alright, Rick, where are you going after this?
This might be a run over to catfish situation.
Yeah, I was just thinking that same thing.
At this point, since we've already done the light world half of it, we've got to do the dark world half of it. But that's the problem, is that it's sort of an orphaned one-off at this point, so there's no real good time to get out here. That was really Rick's best chance to get out here.
Yeah, and if it does have the progression you need, like if Catfish does actually have the flippers, and you've been avoiding it forever, it just sort of feels bad. And Rick, dropping that fairy.
There might be a reason for that.
Not sure if he was hoping to pick it up, but hey, that's our other mail upgrade.
Yep, so now both mail upgrades have been accounted for. Palace of Darkness and Catfish. It looks like Rick's taking an intentional death. Wait a minute, where did he leave that portal? Because that could have something to do with it. Now he's starting up Death Mountain. Let's see where he goes from here.
I think he left that portal outside of Eastern Palace, so that might just be his quick way back into Palace of Darkness.
And it's just a piece of heart. So while Pod was helpful in getting us the sword, it wasn't helpful for much anything else.
Yeah, it looks like what Rick's doing. He's heading back into Pod, just a little quick way back. So he'll pick up Sword and Red Mail as Rascal heads into the Mire area.
And today, instead of frozen bird, we are getting roasted pheasant.
Roasted murderdactyl.
So because the flippers were in Turtle Rock, and we have yet to find them anywhere, I honestly am starting to think that if they're not in Mire, they're either Desert Palace or Pedestal, or at the Smith Chain.
Yeah, that's pretty much all there really is left at this point, right? Oh, also Bombo's tablet.
True that.
So let's see what Mire has for sale other than 9,000 keys.
Continuing on through Mire, we've got one of our 2 items already accounted for, a big 20. There's the red mail for Rick. And Rick's just gonna proceed forward from me. Nope, not so fast. Spoke too soon. I thought he was going to proceed forward. He was just resetting it to get rid of the beetle.
Yeah, they're a little annoying sometimes when you're trying to drop down. Just keep knocking you around, and that's all the.
I didn't happen to see what was in Mire.
It was 10 arrows in that blue block chest. And there's the big key. So if Mire empty is just going to proceed to finishing out Vitreous.
I was about to ask Rascal where you going. By heading that way, you actually... There's another way to get there is what I'm trying to say. Rick's in the dark maze, has the tempered sword.
Rick will have to drop down real quick to grab the key, so...
You believe Rascal's setting up for spooky action glitch, having some trouble with it, so just gonna opt to do it well, I was gonna say with the Cane of Samaria block, but got blocked by the Spike Slider.
Imagine that block got blocked.
So we're going to be having a Vitreous and Rascal screen, and in the next minute or so, Helmasaur King on Rick's side.
Some nice spin NMG strats on Rascal's side on the eyes.
Yep, this is an NMG strat to minimize the lightning cycles. Still got one shock off, but that's okay. That was a good Vitreous.
We're probably going to take a quick dip into Desert Palace here and see what's going on here.
At this point,
we might see a blind pedestal pull.
Yeah, at this point, if it comes down to a blind pedestal pull, while Rascal will get there first by virtue of already clearing Skull, if that is needed, Rick can just clear Skull and Mirror, do it that way. Looks like both of our runners got tied up by the Turtle Party, as Rascal is saying no to that for now, and apparently going for Bombo's tablet.
Possibly Bombo's tablet plus Big Red Bomb. Or just Big Red Bomb.
Rick's dealing with Helmasaur King, getting the Fireball heavy pattern, which is never nice.
No, but he was able to erase it.
Yeah, but Tempered makes it a shorter fight.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you break that mask while the fireballs are out on the screen, you actually erase it because the mask takes priority on the animation. So you just disappear the fireball shots.
A nice bomb teleportation trick by Rascal.
I believe it's frame perfect frame transition to do that. You have to transition the warp to the next tile right as soon as the timer hits 0, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a tight trick, but it's not frame perfect, according to our restreamer Math Girl.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure. I've never actually performed it myself, but I just knew that the timing was very tight.
Well, looks like Rick is phoning in for a pedestal check. Guys, do we have a ped seed? Can we get some Bless RNG? Moment of truth.
Ped, what do we got? Oh, wow!
Indeed! The pedestal is indeed required!
Rick, you make that run for Desert Palace right now and get that going, because you have a moth to kill as well.
Not so fast on the Oops All dungeons. It's only that if we have to do Castle Tower. Matter of opinion, of course. But yeah, now it's a race because Rascal's gonna get the pedestal first. Or will they? Because they still gotta do Blacksmith.
He might be thinking Blacksmith Chain, and he still has to do Desert, so... This is where Rick is going to make up that time.
Yeah, because Rick knows that he's basically in go mode. Save for the flippers on the pedestal.
Yeah, so after those deserts, just a quick jaunt into Mire, finish that off. Go into Skull Woods, kill that moth, mirror, grab your flippers, and go, go, go.
Yeah, so it's basically, as I said, the way this was going to play out, where if you know that it's on pedestal, you just go mode everything in your path, and that's exactly what Rick's doing.
Yeah, especially with Rick doing full clearing pot out as he did as Rascal did, getting that tempered sword. There is no offensive disparity between the two runners now, so I'm gonna be able to make up that difference.
True that, the real disparity started with Rick not having good bomb luck for Kakariko, and then he had issues with the Moldorm fight in Hera. Other than that, some few routing differences here and there, but really that's how Rascal had built such a lead, with those two things right there. But now it seems like the tables might be turning.
And there's the other cane for Rascal.
Not that we need it, admittedly, but Cane of Burna, well, it has its spots where it can be more helpful, but I think those have passed. I believe chat is right, and don't blink, this is all according to plan. And our restreamer does bring up a point as we are racing to see who gets go mode first. The winner moves on to face Drac in the semifinal. There is another semifinal series that is already set, but we've got business to take care of here to find out who our final four are. Whoever loses is eliminated, but they take out of this tournament a top 8 finish, which, all things considered, is really good. I think Rascal missed them. What was Purple Chest?
Purple Chest was just heart piece.
Yep, and now we have got a Bombos tablet. This leads into Desert, actually, so routing-wise, this isn't that bad.
Although that mushroom may lead him away a bit.
Agina, which is... if this has a bow, that'd be mean.
I don't know, though, because a bow could even things up if Rick never finds it.
Nah, it's just 3 bombs.
It's still kind of hard to say who's in the lead at this moment, not until basically whoever pulls Ped first.
At this point, Rick's looking for the big key. As soon as he gets it, he's on his way to Vitreous. Rascal opting to turn the mushroom in. See what this turns out to be. Heart container, which he does pick up, which isn't the worst thing that could have been there.
Rascal making the play into Desert now. Will be looking for both items because he does not have that pet information yet. I think whether Rick comes out on top or not depends on whether he decides to check the cutscene chest first before checking the big chest, the big air room chest. I never know what to call that chest over here to the right.
Yeah, I don't know what to call it either, but that's where he's heading.
I think it's the compass chest.
No, it was that big room that had the chest, not the cutscene. So either way, that's a break for Rick. Oh, main lobby chest?
That makes sense.
What it is. The main lobby chest was where he had to go, as Rascal comes up with the big key in Desert. Rascal's about to head upstairs in Desert while Rick is already in the lowest parts of Mire to head towards the boss area. Who's going to get through their boss first and who's going to pull the ped first are going to be two very important details. Remember, Rick still has to beat them off, but can mirror right there to get to the pedestal. So that could help Rick out a bit, but that goaltending by the spike slider sure as heck won't.
Yeah, looking at it right here, I think Rascal comes out slightly ahead in all of the sequence. By like maybe 30 seconds to a minute.
I was thinking more or less to a minute. We still got a race. Execution's gonna be key, as well as potentially left-right Ganon's tower.
So yep, definitely still too close call for any player's side.
Rascal just short on magic to be able to finish off the land most of one cycle, has to settle for the two. Rick's just doing dash strats with a cape. Down goes Vitreous for Rick. Land Mullahs are down for Rascal.
Oh, he's only check the big chest. Because he's still looking for items.
That heart piece means all that Rascal has left is to pull the pedestal, and then he'll be able to go mode both Ice and Swamp, his order being the whatever order he wants. I think he realizes it now, that he needs the pedestal, because he's on a dead sprint towards it. Rick, on the other hand, is on a dead sprint to finish Skull Woods, which he needs to pull the pedestal. He doesn't know it, but we do. And as a result, with this pedestal pull, Rascal is in go mode at 1 hour, 27 minutes, 35 seconds.
And we'll be beelining it to Swamp Palace and Ice Palace.
Rick, where are you going? Did he forget a key? I believe he did forget a key. Did this on restream during the 2 p.m. daily on Monday. It could happen to any one of us.
Yeah, you don't think you'll be needing that key because you won't be coming back here and then you need it. Oops. So the other question is, does Rascal stop on any of these chests in the meantime to find silvers? Looking like no.
Well, not just silvers, butter sword, or half magic. Those are really the only 3 luxury items out there that can even be considered useful at this point.
Yeah, I definitely agree skipping the Pengator room, but we'll have to see if he decides to stop in the Freezor room. That one's a little bit harder to say to skip. Just because it's literally right there.
Ooh, geez, those Gibdos are not playing nice. Yeah, that one is currently under discussion. That's all I'm going to say about that. Rick is waiting for the Wall Master to fall down to avoid getting grabbed out of the hole.
Very
And
quick
I don't think
fight.
Rick could have asked for a better Mothula fight than that one. Clean indeed. And Rick now pulling the pedestal, gonna be looking at about I would say a deficit of about 1:50. So just a little under 2 minutes. This is definitely still a race. Anything can still happen.
Yep, like you were saying earlier, it can come down to GT routing. Execution's going to play a heavy part in this. And whether either of them decide to stop and try to look for silvers, or if silvers are actually found by one and not the other.
So Rascal is ahead by Ice Palace as here comes Rick to that dungeon's location. Rascal's off to Swamp Palace. Now, this is the best kind of Swamp Palace you can ask for as a runner, and that is a Go Mode Swamp Palace. But Rascal's stopping to get arrows by way of an arrow upgrade. That's how you upgraded arrows in the vanilla game, by the way.
Yeah, I can't blame him. You don't want to accidentally have to have used all your arrows somewhere in GT and then have to go up to the GT climb, and then suddenly, oops, I'm out of arrows and can't kill the red mimics. So, rather get that arrow upgrade early and not have to need it, than be out of them and, well, now I have to hunt for arrows and go outside and dig for 30 minutes.
I think Author Blues had to do that in a race with friends a while ago. It wasn't fun. As Rascal breaks the dam, Rick having trouble getting the switch hit because the jelly decided to park in a bad spot. Rick slips off. Uh-oh. Rascal has started Swamp Palace.
I'm gonna tell you, they need to put a slippery when wet sign there.
Well, that's ice, and yeah, that would probably be a good idea. Nice item dash with a hammer, which allows you to just smash through pots, and if you're at hammer pegs, that's the quick way to do it.
Rick also skipping the freezer room.
Here comes Rick into the cold stare, fight Rascal closing in on Argus.
And Puff's getting a little bit away from Rick, but finishes him off.
Yep, nice double spin to get it done.
And it's looking like Rick will be entering Swamp Palace as Rascal is just finishing it up.
So it's going to be about a 1 dungeon deficit heading into the end of the race. And at this point, wow, Rascal's just powering through the puffs, getting all but 3 in phase 1. Gonna set up for the phase 2 quick kill. Gets it with just fire rod shots. Okay, that was impressive. And that's
Those
the
are
silver
silver.
arrows. Wow. Just wow. Anyway, it's just about that time, folks. Because
So,
we
Leslie,
have...
you ready for that game?
I'm ready. Because we have 22 checks for where the Ganon's Tower Big Key could be. 22 possibilities for where it is. So, get your numbers into chat between 1 and 22 as to where that big key is. I'm sticking with 8. I see you chose 3 in chat.
Yeah, local favorite, either the Gamble Tile Room or the No Key Hope Room to Left Side Torch.
Rascal having problems with the squirrels, as he got dead rocked once.
Yeah, they always seem to be a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, because after all, it's as the Dr. Bob song says, everybody wants to kill those squirrels. Rascal's in GT as Rick is running up to the Argus fight. Gets the heart container in the waterfall chest.
Here we go, just 1, nothing.
Gotta go left.
Some more money.
Oh, there's our last sword.
Rip Bob, though. Four some bombs, 5 some money.
6 is a key. 7's a key. This is going to be a Dark Magician play.
As we head to the right.
Rick's taking the saving quid up the mountain.
Alright, so let's see what the right side has in store for us here.
Rick is on the charge. 8's 10 arrows. 9's the key! Dark Magician being the right call. And the bot's busted, but I do believe I see Blue Danube with the correct guess.
Rip the bot.
Only way Rick gains any time back is if he does the traditional Dark Magician, which would be start left and swing back right after the first 4.
The background music tripped me up there for a second because I thought we'd switch to the player's music for a second.
Yes, he did. He got the silvers off of Argus.
Kinda hard to not get them.
Rascal's already into Gauntlet through room 2. Rick's gonna be hoping for a key, but his hope's gonna turn into despair. Rick comes up with a butter sword.
So hopefully for Rick's sake, he gets these keys and decides to jump back right.
Yeah, that's really his only that's really his best shot at this point. The stun prize being a recovery heart is irrelevant at this point, but Rick is continuing to the left, unfortunately. As sound of a play as this is on a normal circumstance, sometimes the game says no to this routing, and that's gonna be the case.
I mean, you can never know, right? Well, we only know because we have hindsight.
True. That's just 5 rupees. Rascal now on Moldworm 2 as Rick's at Rando Room. Which has a piece of heart, 3 bombs, best boomerang, and a compass, which isn't gonna... She's only gonna tell you where the boss is. I feel like there's more functionality that could be gotten out of it, but that's just me. Sometimes we leave Moldworm's final possession behind, because we don't need it.
Leave it for him as tribute to his dead body.
Rascal starts
like
Act 2 with a double. And that's a double even with a blue ball coming right at him. Nicely done. That was a mean pattern.
There we go.
Yep, got a 4 cycle as Rick's about to shoot down the ice armors. Heart container, piece of heart, and a small key downstairs, so Rick's on his way. As Rascal is now taking on the big pig. These phases are going to go lightning quick as Rick is gambling on tile room.
It's a bold move, but unfortunately not the correct one in this state.
Rascal is in phase 3.
Gotta be a little bit careful with those bats floating around.
Rick got bunny beam, so he has to open the chest. He sees another small key. Rascal with one more shot to do it. A bit too soon on those torch shots, but that'll do it. Down goes again, and we've got bacon. Get your GGs in chat for Rascals. He's just got to cross a certain 1x3 bridge that is more dangerous than you would think.
As Rick is just making it to the right side room and picking up his big key.
And with that, Rascal has won the race and finished with an official SRL time of 1:46.27. Rascal is off to the semifinals.
Where I believe his opponent is Dracaris, correct?
Correct, and with that, we are joined by our winner, Rascal. Congratulations, you are off to the semi-finals. Welcome to the Final Four.
Thank you very much. GG's, everybody.
So, wow, this seed basically sent you guys everywhere but Castle Tower. Just eventually coming down to finding the flippers. And it wound up being a pedestal seed, which one of the big differences is you finished Skull Woods with, and Rick found the 2 items and he just left because at the time there was no way of knowing if it would be a pedestal seed.
Yeah, I think because I got so excited when I got the boots in Hype Cave, I was like, I'm just gonna go to CAC right now. And I forgot that Skull Woods was a pendant. And that's why I rushed there right away. I thought it was going to be a huge mistake, especially later when I was down to like 1 item, and I was like, it's either on the peg or it's that check that I left in Skull Woods because I got too frustrated.
Yeah, I can imagine getting frustrated with that room. In fact, that room is why I don't play inverted seeds.
I really need to learn that room, especially given my my upcoming matchup.
Now, what helped in the early game is that you guys did not have enough rupees to buy bombs at first. You made the right call by going for the 50-50 bombs in this case. Rick didn't go for that, so his Kakariko routing was a little interesting, put it that way. And then the other thing that tied Rick up was Moldorm.
Ooh, I'm glad that I, after game 2, or game 1 rather, I felt a Moldorm, what, like 2 or 3 times? I put some time in, was able to practice it, and I think it paid off a little. As far as routing CAC without bombs, I think that it's an okay decision, because it's basically like 50-50 if you're going to get bombs in Blind's Hut or CAC well. I don't think that's a bad play. It's unfortunate that it didn't work out for him.
Well, as we always say, randomizer's gonna randomize. Now, one interesting aspect of this seed is logically, this seed wanted you guys to do Turtle Rock last, but you really jumped over that by both fake flippering to the Waterfall Fairy. There's a really cool skip in this case, because it saved us the trouble of having to track that down.
Yeah, I honestly didn't think of the logic there. That was a mistake by me. Luckily I had other things to find besides the flippers. It was a tough call, but after the seed gave me 4 bottles and 2 blue goos, I was like, I'm going to TR. This is gonna be awful, but I'm gonna... and it worked out okay.
I would say so, it certainly did.
Death Mountain, East Death Mountain, and Dark Death Mountain. I thought that was a little ridiculous. If I'm remembering correctly, Titans in Spiral Cave. Hookshot in Hookshot Cave? Is that how that works?
Yes, that's exactly what it was. That was a pretty gross place to put the hookshot, I've got to admit. At least it wasn't there in an Enemizer seed with a spiked slider there. That would have been ridiculous.
I haven't played Enemizer in a while. When I first started playing this game and learning it, I kind of cut my teeth on Enemizer, and playing so much tourney, I've been playing tourney flags, I haven't thought about Enemizer for a long time. It can be miserable there. But Hookshot and Hookshot Cave, I don't know what else to say about that.
Yeah, not much to say about that, but it is worth noting, going back to Skull Woods, is that heading there was definitely required, as that Ether Medallion was needed for TR.
Yeah, after I realized what I had done, after Moth dropped a pendant, I was like, oh no. And I was like, I need to get something out of this dungeon. And it was Ether. And when I saw TR was Ether, I was like, I need to press this advantage that I might have. I can't remember, I think I pulled out Book, and was there anything else in TR?
Book and Powder, I believe, were the 2 finds in Turtle Rock.
Yeah.
Not the best of finds, although the book was definitely the clue that led to the pedestal, which, speaking of, you pulled it blind, Rick checked the pedestal, so we knew in the call that, as well as chat, what you were about to pick up.
Yeah,
but
I need to stop.
You didn't, because you did everything else but. Because I made the remark, I believe, is after TR, that in this situation, check head, and if it's there, you can just literally go mode everything in your way. And that's basically what wound up happening.
I don't know how I came out ahead, given... I didn't go back and check the Fed, and I did every other check on the map except for that other chest in Skullwoods. So I don't know if I got boots before Rick did, probably, not by a lot. I must have been more efficient than I thought I would.
It also a bit came down to some GT routing, whereas Rick went full left, you went right, left, right. Yeah,
I like that route that I do. I pretty much stole it from Blaine.
And jeez!
If depending on where it is, it can lose you a little bit of time, but it doesn't lose you a lot of time. And to counter it, somebody needs to go full left or full right. And I think that's why Rick did that, but I'm not totally sure. And it ended up paying off for me, not so much for him. Unlucky break.
I do not know how the heck Rick just about fell off. That was reminiscent of a race that I had once where I almost fell off too, and now I know how the commentators felt on that particular day, as I just about had a heart attack at seeing that. But anyway, GG's AdirondackRick finishes the race with a time of 1 hour, 53 minutes, 32 seconds.
GG, Rick.
GG's, welcome, Rick.
I'm just going to make a technical note that music should be turned down.
I would agree. GG's, Rick.
Yeah, just unfortunate run. Just a case of big key number 22 again. That didn't help.
Definitely not.
Definitely didn't help, but it was a bit more than that. Rascal got a couple bombs from the 50-50 spots in Haunted Grove.
That's a strat I normally pull, but I'm like, I'm just going to change it up this time around, and I didn't realize how much it was going to send me all over the place in Kakariko Village. Like, this is going to be one where I'll watch this one back to see just how much time I lost between that and the unfortunate Moldorm of mess that I don't know how he pushed me off as much as he did, but...
You did it Fighter Sword, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you both did that fight with Fighter Sword, Rick. I was cringing for you because nobody, no runner, no commentator wants to see Moldorm basically run amok like that.
4 falls, was it? It's just that you can't win on execution like that, but I don't know. Like, I know there were some execution gaps like that, but I thought maybe a couple of things that I did that may have given me an advantage was going up to the mountain when I did the second time up that wound up getting, oh look, boots lead to hook shot leads to bow in the same cave.
Yeah, that sequence was wild.
But it is what it is. Like, to make it to quarterfinals was a pretty wild ride, but I definitely just will wish Rascal good luck against Dracarys. That's going to be a real tough battle up ahead.
Yeah, you gotta be careful what you wish for, and now I don't know what I'm getting myself into. GG's. I had a lot of fun this series.
Yeah, this was a wild series. Now I know why you sent it back to 7-7 open. Send it back to what you won game 1 with. And hi, all dungeons, except for Gan's Tower. Or is there Castle Tower?
Yep, we did not have to do Aghanim's, so otherwise it would have been high all dungeons.
But yeah, it's kind of hard to pick up where I lost as much time as I did. I know, like I said, Ganon's Tower was part of it, but I already know, based on the finish times, that he already had a couple minutes on me even before that. I was happy doing Desert Palace in Go mode. I was going to do Misery Mire in Go mode, but hey, we're going to give you both items.
Yeah, sometimes Mire's like that, where you're able to go mode it, but the game's like, nope. Other times you gotta look for items like, hey, go. It's like telling you to just go, and we're like, not so fast. Game be like that.
But like, I'm disappointed that my run's gonna come to an end, but I'm, to make it as far as I did before I had my first loss of this tournament, but to go 1-2 against Rascal, it stings just a little bit, but definitely GG's. Like I said, I definitely need to learn how to do Fighter Sword Moldorm once again, because that was ridiculous. But this was a wild seed. This definitely was a wild seed, and it came down to where in the world were those freaking flips. Now I kind of wish that I had checked the pedestal before rolling into the pyramid/catfish sequence, because that probably killed me some time right there. Did you check Pyramid Fairy?
I did. I tied it in with just the straight pyramid item, and then went up to cat.
Well, like I said, GG to you, and good luck.
Thank you very much, Rick. It was a pleasure.
Go kick some butt.
I'll see what I can
Absolutely.
do.
Rick, I'm going to echo what you said. This was a fantastic tournament run for you. One heck of a ride, top 8. It was fun to be a part of and fun to call as well.
Well, definitely was glad to have the restreams that I did, but thank you to everyone who put them together, and let's go. Semi-final hype.
Indeed, because with that, we are down to 4. We have Rascal and Dracaris to be scheduled for down the road, but we also have one other series that is in progress, and that is Quiz Bowl versus Dragon Strike. It's going to be a wild ride because any one of those 4 could be our champion. Who will it be? I don't know. So that being said, I think it's time we get ready to get on out of here. Final thoughts on this seed?
Hookshot and Hookshot Cave.
Anything from you, Amarith?
I got a little thing, so I'll let if Rick or yourself have anything to say first, go for it.
In that instance, I will defer. Floor is yours.
Rick, any final thoughts?
None here. Like I said, just good luck in the semifinals, and let's have another fun series like this one was.
Thank you very much, Rick. I hope we can race again soon.
Oh,
Alrighty.
absolutely.
So this has been the last quarterfinal match of the Challenge Cup for the Go Mode podcast. All the semifinal matches and final matches will be featured on the Zelda Speedruns network over on Zelda Speedruns, Zelda Speedruns 2, and Zelda Speedruns _3. Please stay tuned and stick around for bi-weekly seed updates and restreams that we will be doing here on the Go Mode podcast Twitch as well. We want to thank everyone at the Go Mode podcast crew and everyone who has been helping throughout the tournament all along the way for helping us make all these restreams possible. Make sure you check out the podcast. Make sure you check out our Discord. Join us for some interesting conversations on whatever Timp and Herfy and Dante all have to say every other week for us. Check out those bi-weekly seeds. Give our runners AdirondackRick and Rascal a follow. Give my co-commentator Leslie a follow here. Also our tracker Vince Easter, our restreamer Math Girl, and myself Amarith. Leslie, would you like the final word?
Sounds good to me. It's been a fun part to be a part of this Challenge Cup, both as a runner and a commentator. With the scene shifting over to ZSR, definitely going to want to tune in for that, because as fun as these last several series were, we ain't seen nothing yet, because we've only got a few left, and they're going to be really, really good, so check them out. You don't want to miss them. So, with that being said, for my co-commentator Amarith Alterna, our restreamer Math Girl 718, our tracker Vince Easter, as well as the true stars who should both get a follow, AdirondackRick and Rascal. I'm Leslie Pro. Guys, have a good night. Watch out for Lionels, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.